22nd, 1991 taping of It's Happening in Grand Prairie, and we have three very prominent citizens of Grand Prairie to interview in just a few minutes. But before we do, we have two community service announcements we know that you'll be interested in. First of all, the City Council of PTAs will be having their regular meeting on the very special dates of January the 24th at Adams Middle School. Now, generally, the City Council of PTAs meets at the school administration building, but this is a special occasion. We'll be doing the Cultural Arts Awards. This meeting begins at 7 o'clock p.m. and Adams Middle School is on Tarrant Road and would certainly welcome you to come and be with them at this very special meeting. Debbie Brubaker is the president of the City Council of PTAs and extends to you a very cordial invitation. Remember the magic date, January the 24th, the magic time, 7 o'clock p.m. Secondly, Volunteer of the Year for the City of Grand Prairie will be chosen in the next month or so. We'd like for you to know that the applications for Volunteer of the Year nominations can be secured at City Hall, and that is on Northwest 4th Street and College Street. Please go by City Hall if you have an outstanding member of your family, of a club, your church, or anyone in the community that you would like to nominate. The magic telephone number at City Hall to get information about this is 660-9097. Remember, if you know of a volunteer that is deserving of this award, and if you don't nominate them, you will be certainly negligent in your civic duty. So let's get with it and nominate the people that have done an outstanding job giving service in our city. And next we have the President's Prayer Breakfast. And that is the President of the United States will be having a prayer breakfast for leaders from all over, not only the United States, but the world, on January the 31st of this year. Now, in the past, we have a very wonderful couple that have been privileged to be the delegate from the area of Congressman Martin Frost's district, and we want you to meet them today. Again, for those of you that did not see a previous interview, Mr. and Mrs. Ken Thorpe, we want to welcome you to the dais today.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ruthie.
Wonderful. And Ken, it's certainly exciting to have you back with us, an illustrious young man that has been into so many endeavors in our city, in the newspaper business, in all other realms, but certainly in church circles and volunteer circles here of late. Now that you've retired, we want to welcome you back to the show.
Thank you.
And Helen Hare Thorpe, wife of the wonderful Ken Thorpe, we're delighted to have you with us again, Helen.
Thank you, Ruthie. It's good to be here.
And a community volunteer second to none in our city. We know that you all are going to have some interesting things to tell the people in video land. Now, I believe I'd like for you to give us the magic year that you were delegate to the President's Prayer Breakfast, Mr. Ken.
I was in 1983.
In 1983. And in a short minute or so, tell us a little bit about what that meant to you to be selected and to attend that wonderful prayer breakfast.
Well, actually, Helen was selected. But back in those days, Martin Frost would think of how to get somebody to go there, and it occurred to him to ask our pastor, Bob Young, if he knew somebody. Bob thought of us, and he called Helen, and she said, yeah, we can go. So we went. But it was a real fine experience because the church dedicated us to the trip, even helped us with some of the finances. And we went up there to Washington to join 3,000 people in one big room and sit across the room from the president and eat breakfast with him. Yes. And 120 at that time, there are now 140 nations were involved in that. It was fantastic.
Yes, and quite an experience.
Yes, it was.
All right. Now, Helen, getting to go to Washington, D.C. and be an inspirational part of that, what was your reaction to that?
I enjoyed it very, very much, and everything was so calm then. And when you compare today with what happened then, as I say, it was so peaceful and calm, and everyone was in cooperation one with another. And most of all, I enjoyed the seminars that they held, and we just caught up on all the latest things for prayer breakfast, and to see how our nation's leading citizens have morning breakfast and prayer along with it, and it's just most interesting.
Now, Mr. Thorpe, when you came back to Grand Prairie, Texas, after you had been to this illustrious breakfast at the White House, you were inspired to do even more than that, and I'd like you to tell our viewing audience a little bit about the spinoff from that national
I wonder
breakfast.
if I could back up just a little to say that the House of Representatives has a prayer breakfast. It's had one for many, many years. The Senate has a prayer breakfast and has had one for many, many years. And I've got a piece of paper here that in 1982, President Ford went to the governor's prayer breakfast in Hawaii, which means that the governor had gone back from Washington prayer breakfast, the national prayer breakfast, and organized one of his own. And when we got up there, they asked us to do that back here. So we came back here loaded with tapes and experience and memories, and showed the tapes and talked to our church. And they liked what we brought back with us so much that they suggested we ought to have regularly a prayer breakfast in Grand Prairie, not for the Methodist Church, but for anybody. So then we sought around to find a place to do it and the people to join us. And we've been here for, like Helen said, 8 years now.
Yes.
And you folks are members of it.
All right.
Regular.
And tell us when and where your prayer breakfast meets now, in the event that any in our viewing audience might like to attend, since I believe it's interdenominational, and tell them about the wonderful magic hour that you meet especially.
Yeah, it's a very wonderful, it's a family is what it is. We're a family of people who know each other. Every time somebody comes in new, he comes in bringing the Lord with him. We all believe in God. We gather there, non-denominational or interdenominational, however you want to say it. There's no president. Our president might be called the Holy Spirit. There are no rules, no officers, no dues. You just come, you have your breakfast and fellowship. Then we have a prayer time where we put together a list of people we think need prayer. We pray for them, and then we have 30 minutes to 45 minutes left over for Christian discussion. And believe me, with different churches in there, we have very interesting discussion. None of it angry, all happy and understanding. It's a very, very good environment.
That's great. I'm glad that you're telling a wonderful story. And as a spin-off from your prayer breakfast, not very long after that, we have a young man sitting to my right that it's a very dear member of my family, Mr. Vernon Jackson, to whom I've been married for 46 and a half years. Mr. Jackson, I want to welcome you to the set, and very seldom do you get in this position where I get to interview you, sir.
Glad to be here, Ruthie.
Wonderful. And after attending the Tuesday morning prayer breakfast, and we're going to get back to tell them what time they meet, would you tell us your leadership has brought about another prayer breakfast, and would you like to talk about it a little?
Yes, I'm learning something here today myself. I wasn't sure which prayer breakfast started first.
Yes.
But we, Ruthie and I, lead a Saturday morning prayer breakfast, which meets at Shorty's Cafe, 1111 East Jefferson, each Saturday morning at 7 o'clock. Every Saturday morning, and we've been meeting since 1985. Mr. Holland Boring, who was minister or pastor at Turnpike Church of Christ, asked me if I would help lead this prayer breakfast in 1985, and we've been meeting every week since then. And it is somewhat like the Tuesday morning prayer breakfast. In fact, many of us attend both prayer breakfasts, Tuesday morning and the Saturday morning, in that we just ask any believer that would like to come and meet with us and have breakfast and pray to come. And usually we have 6 to 7 groups on Saturday from different religious backgrounds or different churches, and it's a very enjoyable occasion. We feel that it's really an exposition of unity each Saturday.
All
And
right.
anyone, I'd like to say that it isn't anything exclusive about it. Anyone can come. In fact, if you're a believer and you want to come and have breakfast and pray with us, you're welcome. And I might mention that either one of these prayer breakfasts, I just happen to know that this is correct as far as the Tuesday morning prayer breakfast. If you come one time, you're a member.
Wonderful. Mr. Jackson, I'd also like our viewing audience to know that you and I have been invited to Washington, D.C. to the President's National Prayer Breakfast, January the 31st of this year. And if the war doesn't stop us and your health holds up and everything's going our way, we have reservations, and we hope to have the same experience that Helen and Ken had and would come back even more inspired to do things. You want to talk about that any?
I sure do. I'm looking forward to that. And we are expecting to go, and we're just hoping that they do go ahead and have it because of the war situation. It might be iffy at this time. I'd also like to say that if you could pick this up, I want to give Ruthie a little bit of credit here. It's 117 names of people. Most of them are in Grand Prairie, Texas, that are on this prayer list. I just counted them just to see how many it was. And Ruthie updates this prayer breakfast list every prior to each meeting. And we just flip it over on the other side and add new ones, just trying to give those of you that might be thinking about coming to this prayer breakfast an idea of what we do.
Wonderful. Well, Mr. Jackson, it's going to be really exciting to hear a report from you when we get back from the prayer breakfast in Washington, D.C. after January the 31st. I believe we're going up on the 30th, 31st, and coming back on the 2nd, and I'm looking forward to accompanying you there, and I'm so glad that Martin Frost was thoughtful enough to extend us an invitation. It's going to be exciting, isn't it?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. All right. Ken, we got to get back to you. We have about a minute and a half left, and you didn't mention the time or the place for your Tuesday morning prayer breakfast, and you better get on the ball and let's do all that good stuff.
We want to be sure that if you're going to come, you get there by 6 o'clock so you can eat. We get out of there at 7:15 so you can go to work. And we, as I said, we have a pretty good discussion there too. So it's.
Where do you meet?
We meet over on 1111 Jefferson, East Jefferson, at Shorty's. It used to be called something
Opie's.
else. Opie's.
Yes. All right.
And
Everyone buys their own breakfast?
everyone
It's
buys
Dutch
their own
treats?
breakfast, right?
Okay. All right.
And we have all ages, all kinds of people. There's no reservations. Just if you believe in God, this is a place where you can get to say so.
That is great. Helen, would you like to say how inspirational it's been for you to follow along with Ken after attending the prayer breakfast and then establishing the Tuesday morning prayer breakfast?
Well, we've just followed up with these tapes that we got at the seminar, and then Ken often leads the lesson, but others come in when they have something very special to tell us. And so, yes, I'm very inspired by it, and I love being there and a part of it, and I feel like this is our church family. It's very lovely.
Wonderful. I want to thank you, Mr. Vernon Jackson, the head of our house.
Oh, my.
Yes. And Ken Thorpe and Helen Thorpe for being with us today.
Thank you for having
It's
us.
very wonderful. It's not often that I get to sit beside Mr. Jackson on the dais and him being so calm and not ordering me to do something because I've worked for him for all of these years. Thank you again, Mr. Jackson, for being with us, and thank you,
And we
Ken
hope you have a
Helen.
wonderful trip.
Thank you. And we'll be right back.
Hello, I'm Alfredo Rodriguez, President of the Student Council at Immaculate Conception Catholic School in Grand Prairie.
And I am Marcus Garrett, President of the 8th grade class at Immaculate Conception.
We would like to dedicate the Pledge of Allegiance to all the military personnel in Operation Desert Shield. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before bringing you three very, very exciting guests from Forum Bowl, we have two community service announcements to give to you. First of all, the Seroptimus International Club of Grand Prairie, Texas is bringing the Texans to our city. And we are very excited. On January the 25th, the Texans will be performing at H.H. Chambers Auditorium. They begin their performance at 7 o'clock p.m. If you would like to have tickets to this in the reserve section all downstairs at H.H. Chambers, please call the magic telephone number of 262-4041, and they'll be glad to make these reservations for you. It's going to be $8 per adult in advance and for the reserve section, and then at the night of the performance, the tickets will be $10. And if you want to sit in the balcony, tickets are $5. So please call the magic number of 262-4041 for your reservations to see the Texans. This is a benefit for the Seroptimus for their scholarship fund and other fundraising of wonderful things that the Seroptimus Club does for service in Grand Prairie. Kids Incorporated, we are needing slightly used clothing for boys and girls from the homes here in Grand Prairie, Texas that are in need. We have a clothing closet over near Crockett School, and Kids Incorporated is sponsored by the Women's Club of Grand Prairie and the Junior Women's Club. If you have slightly used clothing for the elementary ages, please call the Women's Club at 264-2320 and let them know that you have this clothing, or take it by to the Women's Club at number 1 Park Square North and Northeast 5th Street in Grand Prairie, Texas. The chairman is Mattie Parker. And now, three beautiful ladies from Forum Bowl. It is so wonderful to have, we've called you the Queen of Bowling, Jeannie Halsey. And I guess we're going to have, even though you don't have on a crown, we know that it's all of us that know you for any length of time know that you wear one as not only the Queen of Bowling in the Metroplex, but statewide and nationwide. And we're delighted to welcome you back to the set, Jeannie.
Thank you, Ruthie. It's a pleasure to be here and have my two princesses with me.
I noticed that, and that's the reason I introduced you first, because as the protocol would have it, you are the highest ranking one on the dais today. And I am so pleased to have Brenda Halsey back with us. Brenda?
Thank you.
As the daughter of the Queen, it's wonderful to have you with us too.
Thanks,
and also, we're so pleased to have Debbie Meadows. Debbie?
Thank you, Ruthie.
Daughter number 2 with us today. That is great. We're delighted to have you with us to help us in this interview, because we know things are breaking and excitement is coming up at Forum Bowl. Jeannie, let us know again what's happening in dates.
Well, it is time now for our 15th annual Quaker State Open, and it's going to start out with us on Saturday, the 26th of January, with their national telecast, The Climax, on February the 2nd on ABC Channel 8 at 2 o'clock.
Oh, isn't that wonderful? Now, I know that you're sort of breaking these girls. You broke Brenda in last year and had her on the show and doing great things for Forum Bowl and for this great Quaker State event. Brenda, what's your assignment this year?
Same as usual.
Same as usual. You do all the work and all of this good stuff. Tell us about it.
Are you going to tell you about the tournament?
You bet.
Okay. We'll start Sunday with a junior pro-am. We have one squad on Saturday. Adult pro-am. Sunday all day is junior pro-am.
All right.
Tuesday is the 29th, January the 29th, is adult pro-am all day. And we'll have the 12:30 squad, the celebrity squad, in which our Ruthie is going to participate. Then the bowlers, the pro bowlers, will start on Wednesday.
Oh, that begins the countdown then, and from Wednesday all the way down to Saturday is when they establish themselves, right?
Mm-hmm. Thursday evening will be the cut to the top 24 bowlers.
Oh, that's the excitement too.
Yeah, it is. Thursday evening and then Friday will be the top 24 bowlers to see who's going to be the top 5 for Saturday.
All right, now if just the general public wanted to come to see these bowlers, do you have tickets or fees or something that you could tell us about?
It's pretty much $5 every day up until Friday evening. It's $12. A tournament pass can be bought at the bowling center for $50 for the whole week.
For the whole shooting match?
Uh-huh.
Oh, that is great. Now, I know not only is there a bowling situation going on there, then I'm going to get Jeannie to talk a little bit about Quaker State in just a minute. But let's get to Debbie. Debbie, your mother has helped to establish something that has been very, very important to the people in the surrounding metroplex, and y'all have given big bucks to two great, wonderful groups. And would you tell us how much money and to whom you have done those things, would you?
Yes, we're very proud to support the Scottish Rite Hospital. We have donated over $160,000 to the hospital. We also support the scholarship fund for our junior bowlers, and we have donated over $50,000 to that.
Oh, isn't that great?
It's wonderful.
Oh, Jeannie, you are second to none when it comes to planning ahead. Not only do you bring everyone from Quaker State and Oil City, Pennsylvania, down to Dallas, Texas, and you bring the national television people, the national PBA and sports people from all over the world. And of course, you've been saluted very generously by the Chamber of Commerce. You've been saluted by that group as an outstanding person. I believe last year you received their Top Ladies Award for the Chamber of Commerce. And tell us a little bit more about what's going on in bowling and your thoughts.
Well, I think one of the greatest things about it is the fact that we can support the Scholarship Foundation. We have a Grand Prix Foundation in the state of Texas, which has a tremendous scholarship fund, and I think this is great for the youth bowlers across the entire state of Texas to be able to participate in this type of event. It's also great to see the fact that we have like nearly 1,300 junior bowlers already signed up this year. They're from all over, not only the state of Texas, but they're also from Oklahoma and Arkansas. But these young boys and girls will be able to come in and bowl with the pros, and this is really a great satisfaction to them to be able to come in and participate with the pros. Also, we have the state Grand Prix tournament itself that's going to be bowling here on Saturday prior to our tournament. So we have a lot of activities going on at this time.
Now, Jeannie, as you are now semi-retired, you do have another member of the family that's very important to your organization that you left out watching the bowling alley today while you're over here at the bowl lanes. Would you tell us his name and tell us a little bit about Sweet Randy?
Well, Randy Hulsey's at the bowling center now. He serves as the tournament director. Randy has served as tournament director for the Quaker State Open for the past four years now. And Brenda does all of the promotions and the public relations of it, and Debbie's doing all of the accounting of it, taking care of all the pros and processing all of the entry blanks and the bookkeeping and such in the office that must go on during the tournament time. So I'm a good delegator, and they're doing all the work, and I'm getting the credit for it, but they're really the ones that's handling everything.
Tell us about Jeannie Hulsey that several years ago. Is this your 14th?
No, Ruthie, this is our 17th annual tournament.
Oh.
It's the 15th annual Quaker State Open tournament. We had the U.S. Open 2 years prior to that.
Okay.
So this is our 17th annual tournament for Forum Bowl, and really it's our 19th annual tournament.
But it's the 15th then for Quaker State.
Right.
For
Quaker
15
State.
solid years, you've been pulling in the big bucks from Quaker State to come to Grand Prairie, Texas.
That's right. This is the 15th annual tournament Quaker State is sponsored, and we already have a commitment from Quaker State for 1992 for $175,000. So the purse is growing.
The purse is growing, and do they provide these funds for this?
Yes, they do. This is all a part of the ABC telecast and the Pro Bowlers Tour, and we'll probably be the 4th tournament on the tour this year. And Chris Schenkel is looking forward to being in town. I had a nice visit with Chris this past week, and where he looks forward to coming to Texas every year.
Yes. As a matter of fact, he is almost an adopted Grand Prairian, isn't he?
Oh, he really is. He loves the hospitality that is just the greatest in the world right here, and all of the Pro Bowlers do. I think the greatest thing that they enjoy is the really warm, friendly atmosphere that they have and the hospitality from all of the people. They thoroughly enjoy that, and they're looking forward to coming to Grand Prairie.
Good. Do you get pretty good cooperation from your city fathers and et cetera? I really want to know this personally.
We have tremendous cooperation, really. Everybody in the city has given us their complete support. All of the volunteers, all of the women's and men's bowling associations, all of the proprietors throughout the entire state gives us 100% support. And this is what it really takes to coordinate an event like this and make it happen and be a tremendous success. And we're looking to a great one. I mean, when you know now that we still have several days prior to the tournament, and we already have 1,296 junior bowlers already signed up, confirmed that we already have their entries received in. That's great. We're going to set a record for
That
the
makes a
total
statement,
Pro-Ams.
doesn't it?
It does, because we'll have over 2,000 people participating in the Pro-Am itself, of just the amateur people that will get to bowl with the pros. That's a pretty good crowd.
That is. Now, from out of the state, can you name us some exciting bowlers that are coming to us that are pros that will be participating?
Well, Randy Peterson is the defending champion, and Randy is confirmed he will be
All
here.
right.
Marshall Holman, who has won this tournament 2 years in the past prior, he is going to be here. Dale Ballard, who is one of our locals, really,
Yes.
he is a past champion. Dale is looking forward to this. In fact, Dale has skipped the last 2 tournaments. He is practicing working out for this tournament. Chris Warren, who we saw last Saturday on TV, he is planning to do well here. He is a junior bowler from this area, and he's looking forward to the Quaker State tournament.
Would you like to look out into your camera and give everyone in Grand Prairie an invitation to come out and pay $50 for a permanent pass, or to come out anytime they can to see the bowlers?
I would be glad to. We'd like to welcome everyone to come out and participate in this tournament for the entire week long. You can get a season ticket for $50, see some very exciting bowling, get you some autographs of your special pros, plus all of the profits from this event goes to the Grand Prix Scholarship Foundation and to the Scottish Rite Hospital. And we'd like to invite all of you to come out to Forum Bowl, 2001 Great Southwest Parkway here in Grand Prairie.
I think we have about 1 minute left, Jeannie. You have a new grandbaby. All right, a great grandbaby. You are now a queen and a great grandmother. Would you like to name drop that 9-pound child?
Oh, little Nikki is our little pride and joy. Little Nikki weighed 9 pounds and 7 ounces, and I'm pleased to be a great grandmother, and Brenda's excited about being a grandmother too.
Did you see how Brenda smiled when I mentioned grandmother and great grandmother? Isn't that wonderful? That was a personal thing that we just had to name drop that on our television show today.
Well,
that is great.
Well, I appreciate that. With 5 grandchildren and 1 great granddaughter, I feel very excited.
You bet. And we know that we have half a minute left. If you have a half a minute to say about the Scottish Rite Hospital that is your dear love, that you have done so much for to benefit them.
Well, it's a beautiful facility, and we were just pleased to be able to air the Scottish Rite Hospital on ABC TV last year as a part of our program. It was nice to show this beautiful facility across the entire world through the Quaker State Open Tournament from Grand Prairie.
All right. Jeannie Halsey, we're delighted, I am personally, and I know the entire city is, to have you as a citizen of Grand Prairie and to be an entrepreneur in the bowling industry, in the business. It's been wonderful, and you've set the stage not only for yourself and a very special place here in Grand Prairie, but setting it for your family and leaving 3 wonderful young people in charge here that can make their mark in bowling. And we want to thank you very much for being our guest today.
Thank you, Ruthie. It's our pleasure to be here today.
And bringing so much attention to Grand Prairie, Texas. Nowhere else in the world could we get national coverage like this unless we committed a wrongdoing or something real ugly. Thank you, Jeannie. Still queen of bowling in Grand Prairie, and as far as we're concerned, in the whole world. And thank you all for your time.
Thank you.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you, and would you all join me? It's happening in Grand Prairie.